welcome to Coventry Cathedral, an incredible space, voted the nation's favourite 20th century building in a poll just towards the end of last year. We're incredibly proud of it, and it's a real privilege to welcome people into the building and to show them round it. The cathedral is just on the edge of Coventry city centre. We've got a new university right next door. We've got the Herbert Art Gallery, which mirrors some of the architecture of the cathedral. Behind the cathedral are the ruins of the old Coventry Cathedral, bombed in 1940. The Coventry Blitz in November 1940 saw the destruction of the first medieval Coventry Cathedral. The roof burnt out and an extraordinary space was left in the middle, full of rubble and destruction. Almost immediately a commitment was made to rebuild. And there was an architectural competition launched and over 200 submissions were made. Many of them placed a new building on top of the old. But this building in which we're standing was unique in that it took the old as a sign of destruction, as a sign of crucifixion, and next to it placed this incredible structure. As you can imagine, looking around the building, it was not without controversy. The building is quite striking. It looks in some ways like a traditional cathedral, and actually some people said that it was too old-fashioned. It was the last gasp of the great Gothic cathedrals. For others it was too modern, and particularly the artworks that are around us were particularly difficult for some to take. But the city of Coventry embraced it really quickly. It brought millions of people to the cathedral. We were consecrated in 1962. And in that first year, 3 million people visited the cathedral to see the extraordinary work of Basil Spence, the architect, of Arrett, the engineers, of Langs, the builders. It inspired some people, it has to be said, to be priests. Other people, it inspired, of course, to be engineers, as they saw the possibilities of using new materials to create a space that stands in a historic tradition, but draws people into a new form of worship. When Spence conceived this building, which he actually did almost in an instant when he looked down on the site, he had some background in working on the South Bank in London and the creation of buildings for the Festival of Britain, which had begun to open up the possibilities of these great spaces. That was only possible really with the new techniques of civil engineering that were being developed at the time. And if you know much about civil engineering, you'll probably know more than me about the particular challenges of pre-stressed concrete. As it happens, I was going to be a civil engineer. It was my ambition when I left school. I chose my final A-level exams on the basis of being a civil engineer, and I still kind of miss the opportunity to create buildings, which I would have been able to do. Now, of course, I put buildings to use, and this building did make considerable use of that new building technology, that new material of pre-stressed concrete to create the extraordinary open space that this building offers. You can see just behind me as well these 7 pairs of slender columns which frame the view and lead you in your sight and also ultimately in your steps towards the great tapestry which was commissioned for the new cathedral. Those columns sit on tiny bronze pins, so the building illustrates what you can achieve by using the latest technology. So this is a space which is now owned, if you like, emotionally by the people of Coventry. It's a space that we gather people on all sorts of different occasions. But my thoughts always go back to about 3 years ago when we used this space for a memorial event for Jimmy Hill. He was well known as a TV football pundit, but he made his name as the manager of Coventry City. And so when he sadly died, we filled this place with 2,000 people gathering in his honour to sing the Sky Blues song, which he was responsible for writing, and generally to celebrate everything that makes Coventry the city it is. Next year, it's our centenary year. It's the centenary of the old cathedral being created a cathedral and the Diocese of Coventry. And so we will be having a whole series of arts events through the year, including the performance of Benjamin Britten's War Requiem, which was commissioned for the opening of the cathedral in 1962. I think this building should inspire anybody to consider going into civil engineering. This building still stands as one of the engineering triumphs of the 20th century, and by God's grace, it will continue to speak for that for many generations to come.